Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Meditations, Conversations, and Libations. It's me, Mimi. And you guys, it is time for my daily mantra. Are you all ready? Do you want to take this journey with me? Come and take this journey with me. All right, you guys, let's get in our mode. Dear actors, when you're at a table read, can you please read the exact words on the script? Nobody wants to hear your ad-libs. That's not why the writers spent 3 weeks writing this, so that you cannot read what's on the paper. Thank you. I wanted you all to understand that we don't care about your ad-libs. Thank you. All right, you guys, we are here with we have a special guest, and I'm excited to speak with her because we missed some good stuff. So I was like, let's just record this. So, Mrs. Special Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Kelly Owens, Chicago-based actress.
Hey,
it's nice to be here. This is my first podcast, so I am very, very excited about this.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have fun. I can tell. I'm excited because this week's topic is taking a leap of faith and leaving corporate and pursuing your dream. You guys, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into it. Kelly, what I want to know is, because I was going through your resume and looking over your website, which is fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. My husband did it, so he gets all credit.
All right, big ups to the husband. You did a really good job.
You did, I have to say.
I need this in my life. That's what I need. But I was going through your website and just reading over, and then I saw that you said you were working in marketing, but you decided to just go after and pursue your dream of acting.
Yes.
How did you make that decision? It's like...
Now, it was kind of an interesting situation. I had always had sort of an artistic life in addition to my corporate life. I started singing in bands, and I used to do corporate bands, wedding bands, and that was always on the weekends or certain evenings, so I could always do both. Now, to answer your question directly, the decision was sort of made for me in that the company actually downsized and ended up folding. Okay. So I was on one of the round of layoffs. So yeah, it was sort of like, okay, well, you can go to total ruin, or you can actually use this as an opportunity to actually pursue something that's always sort of been in the background of your life thus far. I actually decided, okay, I can either go into the typical, okay, let's get another job and stay on that track, or just really pour some energy and give myself a chance to maximize something that I didn't even think was possible at the time. So, yeah, I was downsized.
We're just going to say that you left corporate. Okay.
I left corporate, but I think to give you more, I guess, rationale that made me confident enough to even try it was I had really nothing to lose to give it a specific time frame in which I was going to make it happen.
Right.
I said, okay, if I can't get any kind of traction after a year, then that will answer the question for me that I really don't have whatever alchemy I needed to make a life in the arts. So it turned out that after one opportunity came, another one would present itself, and it started to actually gain momentum naturally, and because also I was pouring energy into it.
Right.
So it was sort of like one intention was sort of rewarded with an opportunity, and that kind of snowballed from there.
That's a great thing, because I know for actors, it's like when we decide to take that leap of faith, and then it's like, oh, we have all this in-between time, and some of us, it doesn't happen that fast or that often, and so that's how a lot of people end up giving up so quickly, because it's like, this is taking too long. So speaking of like that time frame, what was the time frame for you in between leaving corporate and then getting your first opportunity?
I would say probably, now this is a while ago, but I would say maybe 8 months, if I'm going to take a really rough estimate. And it depends on how you define opportunity, because Chicago at the time was not a major hub of much of anything. I gave myself enough time to actually take classes to refine my skills, and then the opportunity might have been something as small as a non-union commercial, and then maybe the next one was a play that didn't pay that much, and another play that didn't pay that much. Yep. And really, I think it's seeing, number one, being capable of paying your bills while those opportunities do sort of accrue. Yep. And being able to measure success in a way that means something to you, and and not necessarily means anything to a random person. So you have to stick true to what you define as success. Right. And I know Uncle Bill is going to be asking you, when can I see your new movie coming out? You have to be strong enough and confident enough in your path to be able to say, Uncle Bill, that may come in time. Right now, this is my focus. I feel that I've actually made some gains, and and thanks for asking. I mean, I've encountered that. I encountered it initially, and I still encounter it, where people, I think everyone has a little kernel of a dream that they've sort of tucked away from themselves. And when they see someone else actually trying to water and grow their dream, it disturbs them on some level, even if it's a subconscious level, that, hey, I wanted to do X, Y, Z, but I never had the guts to do it, or I never had the circumstances that would allow that to happen. So they challenge you.
They do. I always thought that, and I still do think that today. So you have, whether it's friends or family, or even some supporters who will be like, oh, okay, I saw you in this and you were good or you were okay. And then it's like, you can listen to the tone of how they said it, and you get that response or that answer that you knew, or what they were trying to say. And it's like, okay, those are the same people who are challenging you because this was also their dream. Absolutely. And they are not in the space that you're in now. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't have any problem with motivating you and encouraging you to get back on the stage or whatever you want to do and pursue your dream. But it's like, okay, you get to a point where you don't have to explain that to them. Right. Because it's like, this is my dream. This is what I'm going after. I'm strong enough to continue at it. I don't know what else to tell you. Absolutely. So I don't owe you anything.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. But it takes so much groundedness to be able to say that.
That's true.
Because we all want to make our significant people in our lives proud of us.
That's very true.
We want their investment to pay off in our products, our production. And it's not always tangible right away that you can show that their investment was worth it. And you have to distance yourself from that expectation and say, I'm going to define what is meaningful in my life. Because quiet as it's kept, I've spoken to a couple people who, in quotes, have made it. They will tell you, you never really feel like that until you work at feeling like that. Because acting is a short-term, it goes from short-term opportunity to short-term opportunity. You really can't ever stop because you have to continue to perpetually keep things moving. Yeah. You can't really rest. So if you don't mentally find a way to be satisfied with what you're doing, you can be the most highly paid actor in the world and still feel insecure about what you're doing with your life.
You know what? I never thought about it in the sense of acting is a lot of short-term opportunities, because that's exactly what it is. But I just had like an aha moment where I just thought about that. And it's like, okay, you work on this project for 3 months, or you work on this project over here for 7 months. And then in between, you're trying to find something else while this project is about to wrap up. Absolutely. So it's a lot of short-term opportunities, but you have to find a way to make those opportunities fulfilling to you.
And the spaces in between.
Yeah.
Because that's actually your life.
That is. And so you have to find something to fill that that space that you have, but find something that's joyous and peaceful to you.
Yes. I mean, I would have my hand up, everybody listening, that because that is true joy in your spirit. Mm-hmm. That is what sustains you when those opportunities aren't happening fast enough. Mm-hmm. You enjoying time with your family, with your husband, with your wife, with your kids. That's the connective tissue of your life. Yeah. And that actually feeds your art.
That's true.
Because if you get on stage and you don't have any experiences to share, then what are you doing?
If only people just understood that. I think nowadays a lot of people who are getting into the industry want to be on the screen or on the stage just for the purpose of being seen. Mm-hmm. And it's like, is this what you're passionate about, though? Do you love this? And just like going back to what we talked about before, mm-hmm. I want to know, what do you feel like was, which project that you worked on was your big break or your opportunity for you?
Wow. Well, see, this is assuming that I had it already. Now, that's a big leap of faith right there.
But when we say big opportunity, I think everyone's mind goes to big screen.
Okay.
So my big opportunity was, in theater, on stage.
Well, tell me about that. What was your big opportunity?
So I was always into acting mm-hmm. since high school, but we didn't have a theater program there. Mm. So I went to college, shout out to Jackson State University, Department of Speech and Theater, and I joined the drama club, and one of my first productions was, it was a student project. She was a senior. She wrote her own play and directed it. Shout out to Whitney Robinson. And she casted me as herself. She wrote a play about her childhood. And I was, her going through all the stages in her life. That was my big break. I don't care how many people were in the audience, because when I got on the stage, I was as nervous as can be, but I put all of my energy into that play. And then when I got off the stage, everybody was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God, you're so quiet. I didn't know that you could do that. Oh my God, you made me cry." And I was like, that's all I needed.
Okay, so break in terms of when you knew that you had something special to offer.
Like when you knew you had something special.
Oh, okay. There were a couple, I would say the first significant one. Let me really think about this. I actually was in a play in which I didn't have any lines, mm-hmm. but my character was on stage the entire show. And she was sort of the mom, the sort of the muse. Mm-hmm. It was called Sun Always Shines for the Cool, and it was set in the 70s. And I was supposed to be the bottom B to this person. Right. I was the most, let's say, esteemed working girl. But
that's a good way to put it. Okay,
we're trying to clean it up for general audiences. So she was sort of the nucleus of this little social group. Mm-hmm. People checked in with her. She was always watching. And she sang a couple songs, but she didn't speak.
Right.
And I felt that was the first time that my presence actually meant something to the piece, and that people were not ignoring me. They would mention me. They would talk about my character, but I didn't have to say anything. So that sort of made me think, okay, apparently I'm doing something that is worthy of notice. So that was probably the first time. And shout out to Madrid St. Angelo, who's in Chicago, wonderful actor who gave me the first part, and then also gave me another part that was an even bigger break, which was called Effing A. I can't say what it really stands for. And that was probably when I got really strong notices in local media.
And you know what? Speaking of like people, just great people in general who mm-hmm. have given you chances or opportunities.
Yes.
Who are some of the people that you just are thankful for who've given you that opportunity that you just needed or wanted?
Wow, that's a global question. I love it. I'm going to have to really think about it because I know I will miss somebody, but definitely Madrid St. Angelo gave me my first significant theater parts.
Okay.
And I had before then only studied acting and sung. Actually, Mark Vadik, who is the director of A Chance in the World, I worked in a lot of his early films, just as sort of one scene, two scenes. Mm-hmm. And I tried out for another one scener in a movie that he had, and he said, "Why don't you try out for the lead?"
Right.
I was like, "What? This person should be famous, so I'm not qualified." But apparently, I did well enough to kind of earn that regard from him. Right. So definitely him. I have teachers, Kurt Nabig, hey Kurt, and Chris Stolte, hey Chris, at the Actor Studio Chicago.
Chicago Actor Studio.
Yeah, so did I mess it up? Okay, there it is. Black Box Acting Studio definitely really, really brought out a lot of depth in my work. Mm-hmm. Meisner based. And who else? Oh, Sarah Clark. She's a casting director in town. And she helped connect me to a couple of on-camera projects. So a lot of people, and of course Omar McClinton.
Hello, sir.
There are probably 50 people along the way who saw that I could handle something that I didn't think I was capable of.
You know what? I know that all too well. That's what I'm like, since we're talking about this, I'm going to give a few shout-outs to some people that I know.
Please do.
First off, I want to shout out my high school senior English teacher. I had AP English. Mm-hmm. So shout out to, you told me once I was 25 I could say your first name. So I'm over 25. So Runako Robinson. She was my teacher, and she inspired me to really get into theater because she was so dramatic. And when she would come into the classroom, it was always something over the top. And she would be doing some little monologue from theater. And I think I was the only person who caught it. But everybody else was like, she's mean. I was like, no, you don't understand. And so at the end of senior year, she invited me and some other students to see her. And she was in Crowns.
Oh,
that's so good.
Great production.
And that was my first time seeing Crowns.
Really?
And she performed in it. And I was like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. So I definitely have to shout out to Runako Robinson. And then Jackson State as a whole. And Dr. Mark G. Henderson and Dr. Nadia Bodie-Smith. They are so vital in my love and my passion for theater and just entertainment. But they just helped me realize what my passion was. So I went over there. That wasn't even my department.
Wow.
I was in the theater department like 90% of the time. And in my own department, maybe 10%. Like, I'm just here to take my classes.
Oh, my God.
So, and of course, Omar, Curtis Hudges, and Eugene Delanato. Just to go back again, so because we're on the topic of, leaving corporate and pursuing your dream, you had the 8-month period in between where you got, like, the first opportunity.
Yes.
Was there still time where you felt like, I need to go back to work, or this is not working?
No, because I felt like, woman, thou art loosed when I got out of the corporate the corporate environment. And
the plant.
I wasn't going to say anything about plantation or anything, but the environment. I felt, oh my God, it's such, anyone who has worked in corporate knows this, the gamesmanship, the politics to ridiculous ends that had nothing to do with the actual job you were supposed to be doing. And I just felt like there was so much wasted effort, wasted emotions on crap that just didn't matter. I was just glad to be out of it. I worked at a front desk in a hotel. What else did I do in the interim? I did promo work. I used to do a lot of trade show modeling and trade show work. Yeah. Those were gigs. So I actually, before it became popular, joined the gig economy because I was not going back to the plantation.
We're going to call it what it is.
I was not going back. Because number one, we are in the gig economy. It isn't uncommon. Back when I was doing it, it was uncommon. But I eventually found my way into real estate because that was sort of the perfect profession that enabled me to still maintain a lifestyle, but it gave me flexibility. So that might mean something different for you, but that's where you need to start thinking. You need to totally shut down your corporate brain and turn on your entrepreneurial brain, because that's going to enable you to be more flexible with the time that you have. You have to, until you, in quote, make it so that you can do your art 100% of the time, you have to have some sort of business going, some sort of endeavor that's going to bring money in, so that you're not stressed out when you have the opportunity to do your art. I mean, when you see people in the audition room who definitely need that job, and that's the surest way to scare it away. I think people are repelled by, is that the word, repulsed?
I think it's
repelled by need and desperation. They can smell it, especially casting people. Casting people have a sixth sense. I think they have sort of a psychic ability.
They have something.
They've got something, because they know when the energy's off. And when you are grasping for things, and when you're trying to please them, they hate that. When you're like, hey, this is me. I hope you like it. If not, I'll see you down the road somewhere. And once you can genuinely feel that way and not fake feeling like that in your spirit, they respond favorably to that. But always being very grounded in who you are and not trying to morph, because number one, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. And number two, it makes you unhappy, and you're always chasing something that cannot be caught.
That's true.
You can't be anything else really at root but who you are. So nurture that and don't chase the train, because you'll never catch it.
Because it's gonna go by you every time.
It's gonna be gone. It may run over you
every single time. And then, just speaking of like being yourself and being happy with who you are, figuring out that, you don't have to do extra things.
Right.
How do you feel like in your career now? How do you feel about where you are now in your career?
You know what? I actually feel very good about it.
Good.
I do. It's weird. It's definitely not. I mean, you don't know who I am, y'all out there. I feel like I've had a progression. And that's really what I look for is, am I doing what I enjoy doing? Is it increasing with time? And do I feel like I have momentum? And I think that's sort of true of now versus maybe a few years ago, where I felt like I was stalling out and doing the same thing and God bless America with theater. Theater begets more theater, and it's number one, irreplaceable in terms of training. I am fully in support of that. But it tends in this market to just lead to more of the same. Now, there are people, thousands of them, who would love to trade places with someone who constantly gets those opportunities. So please, I don't want to misrepresent how crucial it is to a career to have that background.
Right.
But if you're looking to continue to expand into other media, you have to make different connections and get into a different ecosystem in order to do that, because you can just continue just to spin your wheels, and then before you know it, you're retired and you never really got anywhere.
That's true, because now I'm like, okay, I'm on a theater break now. I've done the stage plays and I absolutely love it, because I think every actor gets to a point, like if it's really what you love, I think every actor gets to a point where they end up going back to the theater because they miss the liveliness of it. I think they miss being challenged.
It is a serious challenge in focus and being present. So yes, I agree.
Eventually you get to a point where, not to say that, you have to leave that behind, but you get to a place where you want to venture out and go forth and get new opportunities. And so that's why people get into television and film.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I need to know what this experience is, and I want to know what that experience is. It's like, okay, so this is why I'm doing web series now, or television, or movies, or directing. It's like, okay, I have to venture out and experience everything.
Yes, yes, and to your point, it's kind of a balancing because especially in a secondary market, you have to experience everything, but you also have to start culling down what you really excel at. Mm-hmm. I was trying to do print, trying to do voiceovers. I was trying to do basically 6 or 7 things related to the industry, which on one level seems like a good strategy because those are more possible income streams. But then after a while, I said, you know what? I'm only a C voiceover person. Mm-hmm. Let me just let that go.
Right.
Let me just focus on the 1 or 2 areas of the business that I feel that I'm good at. And I think after a while, it's an important journey to take because, as we were talking about earlier, pouring energy and intention into certain paths, they tend to kind of, they expand. Mm-hmm. And I was diffusing my energy all over the place. And now that I've sort of focused on camera, that has actually grown a lot more than when I was doing theater, voiceovers, print, everything. So, yeah. So I think at a certain point, you'll know when that point comes for you, when you stop feeling happy and satisfied with what you're doing, when it's time to kind of cull the herd and pour energy into what really makes sense. And let's be honest, what makes money?
I mean, you got to think about it because you have to sustain.
You have to sustain.
And then speaking of energy, before we started recording, we were talking about you on Empire.
Oh, dear.
I saw you on Empire. We all love Empire. And we were talking about you getting to work with Forrest Whitaker and his energy.
Oh, my gosh.
So I just wanted to go back so the people could hear it, too.
Okay. Well, first of all, it was hilarious because when I went up, he extended his hand and I had no voice. I said, I said, oh my God, I've never done that before. But it's overwhelmingly positive energy, but it's not frenetic. If you saw it on a device, it would be a sine wave, just a wave of positive energy, and not frenetic and crazy like other performers.
Yep. ...
It was everything in his demeanor was just like very welcoming. Mm-hmm. And he was completely, he was intimidating because of who he is and what he's accomplished, but he wasn't an intimidating person. He was a warm, welcoming person who actually treated me like just a colleague.
Right.
Not an upstart, but a colleague. And it was really such a great experience working with him and looking at him, and he's tall and he's like kind of brawny, and it was great. It really was.
And see, that's the things we were also talking about. This it's like when you give off good energy and it's genuine, and not because you're pretending to be this genuinely good person. When you give off that genuine good energy, then you reap the rewards, and that's where we're talking. This is why he is an Academy Award winner, because he's just an all-around good person.
He's a good person, and people love him, and people, you could tell, wanted to be around him, but he didn't need everyone catering to him. He was just okay being who he is.
You guys, I could talk about this all day, but we have to move on. So, Kelly, I want you to tell us something about yourself that we don't know. How about this? Tell us something about yourself that your family doesn't know.
Oh, wow. They know everything. Let me think.
Man.
Oh,
there we go.
I'm a very aggressive driver, and no one knows this unless and until they are unluckily in the car with me. I actually have a little bit of road rage that I'm trying to keep in check.
Listen, it's a struggle. It is a struggle driving in the city of Chicago.
Yes.
You are bound to have road rage.
And I just say these words. I'm like, who's saying these horrible words? And it's like, I feel like I'm a very low-key, not low-key, but just like not an angry person. But in the car, all that just
flips.
The switch.
Yeah, flips.
So I'm really working on that because I don't want to be on YouTube trending anywhere for having road rage.
Well, now they know. The people know. But don't judge Kelly, y'all.
Please don't judge
because
me. I'm working on it.
You do the same thing. You do the same exact thing. Stop judging. All right, you guys. So here's my favorite portion of the show.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready? Kelly, I'm going to ask you a question. Be aware.
Uh-oh.
I'm just going to ask you, it's very polite. I'm going to ask you to stick your hand in my box.
I don't know if I'm going to be doing that, but that sounds a bit personal, Miss Mimi.
I said beware.
I guess. Lord have mercy.
All right, Kelly, so choose a question. You guys, you know what it is. Kelly's going to choose a question.
All right.
And random question that you have to answer truthfully.
Okay.
And you cannot choose another one.
And
you cannot put that.
I like choices, Mimi. I don't like
We tell the truth on the show.
Oh, okay. I can tell you this right off. It says, what is the one thing you are most afraid of? This is my biggest fear in life. And you know what? If I had a psychiatrist, they would totally get it. My biggest fear is hitting somebody with my car.
Oh.
And that is related to the road rage. OMG.
Oh my God, do you see that moment?
Oh my God. I never even thought about that. It is because I have like nightmares. Or even when driving, I'm like, oh my God, please don't let anyone dart in front of this car. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to hurt somebody with my car. That is my biggest fear.
See, we are helping people on this show, bringing it full circle.
Oh my God.
And you just figured out where your road rage comes from.
Oh my God.
It's that fear of, you're scaring me. I don't want to hit you, but you're not going at the pace or doing what I need you to do, and now I'm scared.
Whoa. That is beautiful, because I definitely did not make that connection.
I think I could be a psychiatrist.
You could.
And a therapist also.
Totally.
That's
my God. Yeah.
That's what we do.
I'm overclamped.
That's what we do here at Meditations, Conversations, and Libations.
That was wonderful.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So we're going to move on after we just had that aha moment. Kelly, do you have a mantra you want to share with us?
Okay, I have something that is akin to a mantra. It is a visual mantra. When I go into a situation where I'm uncomfortable, mm-hmm. where I'm about to audition, mm-hmm. where anything that's going to challenge my comfort level comes into my experience, I visualize my heart's doors opening. And I said, I am not going to shut down, mm-hmm. fold into myself, be defensive. I'm going to open myself, expand into this experience, hopefully touch the people that I meet, mm-hmm. and make myself feel comfortable and grounded and more and not afraid.
I'm going to just borrow that for the rest of my life. I'm going to open my heart's doors. Oh my God. All right.
And it's not always easy, because the first thing you do when you feel afraid is you want to cocoon, go in the turtle shell.
That's true.
But that's what's going to alienate you from not only learning, but really appealing to the best in other people.
All right, you guys. So it's a little cocktail time. And today we're being fancy because I just can't. I can't have a cocktail right now. So instead, I am drinking on something called bubbly. It's like it's sparkling water with lime.
Wow.
It's just, fancy water. That's my choice of cocktail today. Okay, you guys? I'm on an alcohol break.
What you talking about, lady?
I lie. I'm never on an alcohol break. Kelly, you want to tell us what your choice of cocktail is?
I have an orange La Croix. And it's very orangey and very sparkly.
Oh my God.
I took 7 years of French, y'all, in high school and 3 years in college. I do not remember it anymore, but if I had to speak it again, I could.
See, that's how it goes. I took a lot of Spanish, but I only know like phrases and words now. I'm like, what happened to my brain?
It's there. It's just dormant.
Pull it back out.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Kelly, do you want to tell us how can the people reach you on social media?
I actually do have a page, Kelly Owens, on Facebook. That's it. everybody. I try to.
But see, you also have to mention your website.
Oh, it's KELLYOWENS.com. Very, very uniquely named. It's got my reel and pictures and everything.
Right.
And if you need to reach me to employ me, yes, I am there.
All right. And Kelly, tell us about any projects that you have coming up.
I do have a film coming up, and it is very serious subject matter. It is about police interaction with a Black man that had tragic consequences, and it's based on a true event that actually happened a few years ago. And I play someone who lives in his apartment complex where this tragedy happened. And we're the neighbors who try to keep it from happening, but it happens anyway. But it's very timely to what is going on every single day. So I'm looking forward to bringing that story to life.
Kelly, thank you so much for being
here.
You're
welcome. This has been really, really fun, Mimi. You do a great job, and I appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Meditations, Conversations, and Libations. And remember that wherever you hear me now, you can hear me later. We will see you all next time. Thanks for listening, and we are out.